Hello and welcome back to another video. I feel like this angle is really bad. Okay, that's a little better. Hello, welcome back. We're gonna try that again. I was struggling to come up with some kind of content idea because I knew I wanted to film a video, but I also know that I'm not gonna be able to read a whole lot over the next few weeks because school is crazy right now. Last semester of high school, if you've been there, you understand it's crazy and you have no motivation to do anything because you're just so tired of being in high school. So I decided that I'm going to film me getting through my physical TBR in February. I don't know if my entire physical TBR will be in this video because I have A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, Mary Jane, and Atomic Habits on my to be read. I know that once my audiobook hours renew, I'm going to use those a lot to my advantage. Those audiobook hours are going to help me a lot. But other than that, I don't know if I'm going to put all 4 books in this video or not because I want to get this video up before the end of February. So we'll see. It's February the 3rd right now. I have been reading A Court of Mist and Fury since sometime last week in January. I honestly couldn't tell you. The past 2 weeks I've had scholarship competitions, I've had tests, exams, essays due. I haven't had a lot of time to read, but I just got most of my work done. I am 150 pages through A Court of Mist and Fury right now. I'm going to say that I'm enjoying it a lot more than I did ACOTAR because of what court she's in now. I like this other court a lot better. The love interest that we're following, he's growing on me a lot. I'm slowly starting to really get into the series and understand why it's so beloved. But yeah, I am enjoying it so far. I can't say a lot because it's the 2nd book in a series. These are my tabs. I don't have any tabs that are this green color, which makes me so sad. And I didn't want to use yellow tabs because I only have one set of yellow tabs. And I don't know, I just know there's a better book for me to use than one of the ACOTAR books. Yeah, I feel like I'm just going to keep repeating myself if I keep sitting here and holding this book. But we'll see how long it takes me to read it. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention, but it is Saturday right now. My goal is to be 250 pages through Asimov by the end of tomorrow. So we'll see. And then I've been trying to adjust this camera for 2 minutes now, and I can't get the lighting to cooperate, so you're just gonna have to deal with this. I'm sorry. It is definitely Monday. I totally did not read yesterday. I was editing and going to church and hanging out with my boyfriend and running errands yesterday. That was all I did. So, but we're here now. I'm exactly 203 pages into A Court of Mist and Fury. Or if I hold that there, it helps. Okay, so we're just gonna keep this here. I have to go to work in like 30 minutes, so I'm just gonna read until I go to work. And then I also want to start Atomic Habits this week, at least get like 50 pages-ish through this. Also, I completely forgot when I was making my February TBR that if only I had told her, will literally arrive on my doorstep tomorrow, February 6th. I'm so excited. I might read that after this instead of Mary Jane, but we'll see. Literally nothing is cooperating today. I'm having a crisis over my flyaways. The lighting is not cooperating. The angle's obviously probably crooked. Nothing's cooperating. That being said, it's Wednesday. I really, truly, truly meant to film yesterday because I got... Where even is my book? Oh. I got a... well, for the pace that I'm reading, I got a sizable chunk of A Court of Mist and Fury done. I'm now on page 282. I genuinely don't think I'm going to be able to rate this book higher than a 4 stars. And it's not because I don't see why other people enjoy it. It's just taking me so long to get through. I picked up Atomic Habits for the first time yesterday. I read maybe 10 pages, so I got through the introduction. That was it. I don't know if I'm gonna like this as much. I may just wait and listen to it when my Spotify hours renewed, and I may listen to this more as an audiobook, or just like read it very, very sporadically, like over a couple months or so. I'm just not a nonfiction person. Also, I think I'm going to officially announce that I'm going to hard DNF Binding 13. I've soft DNF'd it since November. I got 160 pages through it out of like 600 and something pages, so I got like a quarter of the way through. It was so slow. I could tell it felt outdated. I'm sure it gets good 500 pages in. I just don't have the patience to read it, and I've been trying to sporadically read it for 4 months. I genuinely think this book is what started the slower reading pace that I've literally had since the beginning of December. This is the very first book that I've ever like officially DNF'd that I read more than like 20 pages of. And I hate doing that. But it's for the best. One more thing. Yesterday was February the 6th. You can probably guess what this is. If I can get 50% of the way through A Court of Mist and Fury today, I'm going to try to just finish that book out. If for some reason I can't, I may just read this book, because I feel like this book would take maybe 4 days to read max. But anyways, I'm going to open it up. I've literally been waiting a year for this book, and I know it's probably not like a super anticipated release for some people. I know it's going to break my heart. I'm ready for that heartbreak. We have If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nolan, which is the sequel to If He Had Been With Me. Oh, it's the first book. I don't like the way either of these books are formatted, like in the paperback. The pages are like super thick and stiff, and like the covers are really stiff. So, if you've seen my cover of If He Had Been With Me, see how beat up this cover is? And like, I like the look of beat up books, don't get me wrong. Like, but like, it's the folded backness that bothers me just a little bit. Like, that still irks me. I don't mind if it looks weathered. It's the fact that the flaps don't stay that drives me nuts. Anyways, that being said, I would love to get all the way through this before I see anyone post about it. I doubt that will happen because I need motivation to finish A Court of Mist and Fury, and this might be my motivation. So, I'm so excited to read this. I'm not gonna read anything right now, more than likely. I just wanted to sit down and open this package with you guys. That's the main reason I turned the camera on. I'm gonna try to remember to film when I read later, but I have some homework to go do right now. So, I'll do that, and I'll hopefully see you guys later today. I just put turned the camera off, and I picked it, and I like looked at the back of this book. If only I'd told her that I loved her years ago, then I wouldn't be here now. What? What? This is going to hurt so much. And just like I promised, I'm back a little bit later than I would have liked, and I only have about 15 minutes before I have to go to church, but we are going to be reading a little bit more of Akhmoff before I do that. So, my goal is to read, I said halfway through today, so that would be math, like 30, 40 more pages. I think I can do that. A lot of times that Sarah J. Maas's characters flip things or people off. And the fact that she will not say flip off, she says vulgar gesture, is hilarious. I don't think I like it. Hey, so, what day is it? It's Thursday. Happy Thursday. I am now 330 pages into A Court of Mist and Fury, and my goal is to get 400 pages through today, and it's already 2:45, and I have to work 3:30 to 7. So hopefully I'm able to do that, and hopefully I can focus long enough. My goal is to finish this book by Monday, so I'm just ready to be done with this book. And that being said, I don't know if A Court of Wings and Ruin will be read in February because it's just so much brain power. It's just so much brain power that I can't really spare. But yeah, let's go read. I genuinely do not remember the last time that I updated this video, but it's now February the 15th. I finished A Court of Mist and Fury on February 12th. I'll tell you guys my rating at the end of the video. And now I am 216 pages into If Only I Had Told Her. I have watched this man die 3 times now. 3 times. I don't know why I torture myself like this. I should not have been reading this book in public, but I was, and of course that was the only time that I was actually crying. And I was like, I can't cry. These people were like watching me anyway. Not the smartest idea. Don't know why I decided to do that. This is a really tall task for me to ask of myself, but I think I could genuinely finish this book tonight. I love it so much, and it's so heartbreaking. But yeah, also my Spotify hours renewed, so let me show you guys what I'm listening to. I'm listening to Dial A for Aunties. If it would focus, there we go. I'm listening to Dial A for Aunties because I needed something light that didn't require brain power after finishing A Court of Mist and Fury, and then of course going into If Only I Had Told Her. And if you haven't heard about Dial A for Aunties, there's this girl and she has 3 aunts and they're really close with her mother. They're like all 4 sisters, and there's this girl. And this girl accidentally kills a guy. She needs her aunt's help to deal with it. So, and they all run this wedding business, and I've discovered that that's one of the really tiny things that I really enjoy about books. Like a really niche thing that I really like is when the wedding business is involved. For some reason, I really enjoy that. I just really enjoy that, like the aspect of that in a book. Anyways, that being said, I'm gonna go back to this pure torture and heartbreak that is If Only I Had Told Her. I didn't think I could hurt more than I did in If He Had Been With Me. I have been proven wrong. This is gonna make no sense to you if you haven't read this book. But page 220 and 221, the audacity of this child of a woman. I just read 150 pages of this book in one sitting, which is a crazy amount for me to read in one sitting, especially considering the last book I finished took me over 3 weeks. But we aren't going to talk about that right now. What we are going to talk about is this book. This book is just, it actually helps you recover from the grief and the agony, the grief and the agony that it pulls you through for the first 300 pages are all worth it because it helps you heal as it goes on. And I'm not going to say a whole lot else because there's something about this book that I was not aware of when I picked it up, and I don't know if it's advertised. I'll probably check later to see if I can mention it at a later point in this video. There's just a part of this book and the way it's structured that helps you recover, but also breaks your heart way more than the first one did. It's beautiful and depressing. As the best things in life are. Or the best books, I should say, not the best things. That would be concerning. Okay. It is early Friday morning. Well, not early, it's like 9 a.m. I just got back from the gym, and before I do anything else, I want to update you guys because I finished this book yesterday. I was just over 100 pages in this time yesterday morning, and I literally finished this book yesterday, and this book freaking tears you apart. It rips your heart open for like 3/4 of the book. It rips your heart out so much more than the first one did. And then it just slowly stitches it back together. And also, I did look on the back of the book. I did not realize that this book was told in 3 perspectives. I thought it was just Finney's point of view. It is not. It's Finney, Jack, and Autumn. So, do with that what you will. Even if you were like kind of iffy on the first book, I'd recommend reading this book because it gives you more closure. Again, you'll have to wait until the end of the video to hear my rating. Also, I think I'm like 40% of the way through the audiobook of Dial A for Aunties, and I'm genuinely enjoying it. It's really funny. It's not making any sense. Like, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier, and it's so bizarre, and so like this could never happen in real life, and it's like you don't even like as the reader know like what exactly is going on, and it's, I don't know, it's like in a really funny way. It's not really a thriller. It's not a mystery either. It's like a comedy slash murder slash a little bit of a mystery. I don't know. It's really fun. Anyways, that being said, I want to start Mary Jane today. We'll see if I have time. I have kind of a busy day with school and work, and then I might watch a movie tonight. So yeah, we'll see. I will try to remember to film. Happy Saturday. I do not remember the last time I updated. I think I updated on Thursday when I finished. If only I had told her. First of all, I want to update you on my audiobook. I am about 60% of the way through. I'm still really enjoying it. It's really funny. I don't necessarily have a desire to listen to it every single moment that I have time to listen to it, but I'm enjoying it and it's entertaining. So that's good. And I started Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. I keep saying Blue. I think it's Blau. I started this book yesterday, and this is a story about a 14-year-old girl who is raised in like this very strict Presbyterian home in the 1970s, and she goes and nannies for this other family that is the complete opposite of her family, and she nannies for them, so she stays with them for the summer, and she gets to see like this entire new world that she doesn't really experience because she's, you know, growing up sheltered. And it's a really interesting topic as someone who was homeschooled. My entire life still is homeschooled. Obviously, unfortunately, the stereotype about homeschoolers being sheltered is very, very true. If you're homeschooled, you know that. And also, if you're homeschooled, I'm sure that you had a moment where you, or like had a certain time in your life where you kind of entered the real world. That's what we're watching Mary Jane go through. And it's just really, really interesting to me because, I don't know, I feel like being sheltered is never touched on in books. And the views that Mary Jane has, like, with her living with this family will say something completely normal. Like, it's just really little, simple, funny things that just don't make any logical sense. But if you grow up sheltered, you had no way of knowing that that doesn't make logical sense. And you get to, we're watching her kind of learn how to make sense of the real world outside of this sheltered home that she grew up in. It's just not something talked about in books, and it's a really interesting concept to like see someone else experience it. I don't know, it's really cool. Especially as a homeschooler reading about it, it's really cool. I really like it. I'm totally not gonna lie to you guys. I just lit that candle. I thought it was gonna be really aesthetic, and the flame grew to a unsafe height. And I am very pyrophobic. I hate fire. So I blew it out. And now I'm terrified that my smoke alarm is gonna go off, because that's how unreasonable my brain is when it comes to fire. Anyways, it is Tuesday, February 20th. I finished Dial A for Aunties yesterday. I finished the audiobook while I was at work. It was okay. It was good. I thoroughly enjoyed the entire process. It was just kind of one of those books where it's like, what is going on? I am also 40% through Mary Jane. For the sake of time, I'm actually going to end this vlog here before I finish this book, so you're going to have to come back to my wrap up to see what I think about this. But the books that we read in this video, just to recap, we read A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nolan, and Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. Alright, now for the long-awaited ratings of each of these books. And A Court of Mist and Fury, I gave this book 3.75 stars, which is lower than I rated ACOTAR. And it doesn't mean that I don't like the book. And it doesn't even mean that I don't understand the hype behind it. I completely understand the hype behind it. I just don't think this series is for me. This book took me close to a month to get through. Well, that's a little dramatic. More like 3 weeks. This one was harder to get through than the first one was, probably because it was 200 pages longer, and it didn't seem like it moved any quicker. I mean, the plot was great, the world is great, the characters great. I don't know what it is about me and this series, but it's just not working, and it's not even that it's too complicated for me. It's just, I don't think I like it, and that makes me so sad. Like, so sad, because I want to love this series so bad. That being said, I'm going to continue it. I have the entire series on my bookshelf. I'm not going to let it go to waste. And like I said, a 3.75 is not a bad rating. It's just, this wasn't mind-boggling and world-changing like it was for so many other people out there in the booktube world. Next, we have If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nolan, which was my reward after finishing Asimov. This book is told from Finny, Jack, and Autumn's point of views. I think I gave a lot of my thoughts on this after I finished it, so hopefully I'm not repeating myself. I'm sure if I am, I'll just cut it out and edit it out. I loved this book. I landed on 4.5 stars, but I liked it the exact same amount that I liked If He Had Been With Me, if not a little bit more. I just think that I read If He Had Been With Me at a very, like, pivotal time in my book reading thingamabobber. Book reading journey? I don't know. Like, my booktube journey. And when I was first starting to rate books, and it was the first real, I think, 5-star read that I truly thought was 5 stars. And I think if I read that book now, I'd probably give it 4.5. Therefore, this one is also a 4.5. I cried more in this book than I did in the first book. This book will shatter your freaking soul and piece it back together again, and then shatter it again, and then leave you like hanging off the edge of a cliff. And like, it ties up a lot of loose ends though, and it does heal you. I think I said that earlier. It does heal you from the first book. And then the audiobook that I read while we were doing this video, Dial A for Aunties. The whole premise of the book of like accidentally killing a guy and then her having to like go to her aunt's to get help with it, and the whole wedding business thing, it was great. I loved it. It was a great idea, and I think it was actually executed very well. It was hilarious. I was laughing throughout most of the book, but it was just so bizarre. Like, it was so fictionalized. Like, you knew that this could never happen in the real world. I enjoyed it. It's just, I'm never gonna think about it again. I gave it 3 stars. Like, I'm just never going to think about it again. It wasn't very memorable, but it was very entertaining to read. And then really quickly, Mary Jane. I'm very much enjoying this book. I see a lot of myself in her, and it's really sweet. It just feels so sweet and wholesome, and I love it so much. And then I don't think I mentioned this, but this book has been on my physical TBR since November 1st, which is a super long time for a book that I buy to be on my physical TBR. That's very uncommon of me, but it's Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, and I started this as an audiobook yesterday, and I think I'm 10% through. We'll see where this one goes. Oh my gosh, I'm just remembering everything, like, as I'm filming this clip. This clip is probably all over the place. I'm so sorry. Atomic Habits, I read 10 pages of it. I never picked it back up. I'm probably not going to read this book. Nonfiction is just, it's just not where I am at this point in my life right now. I just, being in school for so many hours of the week and training for new jobs and having to do so much reading nonfiction on top of that is just not fun. Anyways, that being said, I love you guys so much. If you want more unstructured reading vlogs from me in the future, please let me know, because I would absolutely love to do that. This video definitely kind of turned into just a February reading vlog because it carried us through most of February, and I only read one book from my original physical TBR that I created in the other video. Thank you for joining me on my February reading journey and not laughing. Well, you probably are laughing at me that I only read one book off my actual physical TBR that I said in my wrap up. But anyways, that's all. I love you. Bye.